Welcome back to the Camp Shioka podcast. This is your host, Josh Stream, and as always, a very special guest all the way from California. She's a D1 athlete and described by Bridget as the best ever. Welcome to the podcast, Libby.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for saying yes.
Oh, of course.
I think you're the only guest that I've actually said that to, where I'm like, hey, thanks for saying yes to this, because I haven't had anyone be like, no, I don't want to.
Yeah, no. Everyone wants to be on the podcast. It's the best thing ever.
The Camp Shioka podcast.
Yeah.
So you have quite a history here.
Yeah.
From how early, like what year, what age did you like come on to camp?
My first year was in 2018. So it was the stronghold year, if anyone listening was here. Mm-hmm. But I just had ended my freshman year of high school, starting my sophomore year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And that was, you were in high school.
I was in high school. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was 14, got to be 15 that next year. Yeah.
So what brought you all the way out here from California?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's so random. Everyone in California that asked me what the heck I do in Louisiana, I was like, literally, why? It's so weird. But it's my favorite place. But so my mom, we actually have a really cool kind of story with it. But my mom got involved with WFR, the church, that used to kind of run camp. And she actually came out here when I was in 5th grade, I think, and she was baptized out here on a women's retreat, and they were in Alabama, but it was WFR's retreat. It was a Heartfelt Ministries, I believe, and they were like, come on, we like want to get your daughter to come to camp. And I was like, no, that's so weird. Why would I do that? Like, I don't know. It just seemed random and weird and crazy, but I ended up coming out here with a friend when I was just in high school. We came out, like, we decided we were coming a week before. Like, it was such on a whim. Like, I found a friend that would come with me, and I was like, sure, you want to come? Like, let's go. So we ended up coming, and I've never left. And it's truly changed my entire life, changed my whole faith walk, changed everything. So
wow. Praise God.
Yeah.
So what, from camper to staff, what was that? What was that like? Like, what was the hiring process like? Because they must have already known you. And
so 2018, I was a camper. 2019, I was a camper. 2020, COVID, which is so funny, this story. I was here. We had camp the night before camp. I was already here, flown here from California, which is already like a big deal, like COVID, everything. Yeah. They canceled camp the day I got here, and I was like, no. Damn. But actually, truly, it was a God thing, because I ended up being able to come back for camp later in the summer. It was in July. And I ended up being able to stay for junior staff. So that was the summer of going into my senior year, and that was when they got to see me kind of do my job and kind of work. And I was actually 17, so I was going to be 17 when I graduated, and so they were like, we don't really know if you'll be allowed to be on senior staff after you graduate. And then we have some now that are after graduated, and Miss Carrie ended up texting my mom in October and being like, we've prayed about it, we just want her here. And so I ended up being senior staff right after I'd graduated. So just like Daniel, Jet, and Owen that are out here right now. I know a few others are like that, but yeah. So that was kind of mine. It was a very unique hiring process, obviously. I was a camper, and then went to junior staff, and then went to senior staff, but truly could not have changed it or planned it any other way. It was perfect. So yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So was there any the way I describe it, or like the way I ask about it, is like the time in between, like you're waiting to hear back if they. Yeah. Was there any of that, or was it just immediately like she needs to be here?
Because when I was a junior staff, I had talked about being senior staff with them, and they had basically said no because of my age. Not no because they didn't know me and didn't love me, but no because I was gonna be 17, and so truly there was no waiting, because I genuinely thought there was no way I could do it, if that makes sense. Yeah. So until I got the text saying I could do it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So there was no waiting in that sense. They were like, have her apply. And then I don't think we heard back from applying, even though I knew I had it, if that makes sense. Like, they asked me to do it. Yeah. And I still did the interviews with John Luke and Tu Mama and Miss Garrett. I think I had a 3-way call with all of them to talk about it. But so I did all that interviews process still, even though they knew me. But there wasn't really a waiting period, if that makes sense. There was just like a excitement period. So I was waiting, but I was just so excited to get here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because I've described mine, and I've had other guests describe like, oh, it was nerve wracking. Like that, 3 weeks to even like a month or longer. Yeah. Like just waiting to see, like, I don't know, I want to do this. I wrote the essay, Like,
yes. I think the unique thing about mine is because I was a camper, they knew me. So that it changes a little bit because they could literally just say no. Like, so, you know, like they don't know y'all. And like, it's a blessing that they get to know you through all that. And the essays, they read them and they read them thoroughly and they call the references because they need to. And like, they want to get to know everyone so that they know that they're family here and so that they are able to love you right when you get here. And they like, not that they don't love you when you're applying either, but they're just like able to know you and know who you are and like know your character. And so I think that's a cool thing about growing up here, not growing up here because I didn't, but like being a camper here, and them knowing you, they're able to like just be like, yes, we love you and we want you on staff. And they're able to do that for you. And they're able to do that for every other podcast member, every other staff member, but I know podcast members have talked about it. But
yeah, that's something I definitely appreciate is like they're very intentional, like through reading the essays and like actually interacting with your references and then the 3-way interviews.
Yeah.
Which
did you have a 3-way?
I did. Yeah. It was very interesting to like, okay, so Carrie, that's Carrie's voice.
Yeah,
and
you're
this
like,
is
you don't wait. I didn't even
Mama.
Think of that. You're like, who is Tu Mama?
I'm like, I know who John Luke is. Like I watched him grow up, and so it's like this is weird.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. It was a fun process.
Like,
but just
I think this is Carrie.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, down to them like praying, but like, hey God, should they be here? It's like
it's so intentional.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah. And like that's definitely a consistent thing with like the hiring process that I've heard from every guest is like
they bring really, Jesus into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know how much prayer is poured in. I know from like this staff will be asked to pray for next staff and like constantly like just praying for who's to come and what's next year going to look like. So it's just like very intentional. Jesus is brought in at every single moment and there's purpose. So
absolutely.
Even if you're waiting for an answer, there's purpose, I promise.
Yeah. So. And there's also purpose in like, if they say no, like that's okay. Like there's a reason. Cause like I've definitely had in my like occupational, like
journey
path. Yeah. That's like, I've had no's and it's like, okay, that sucks. Cause no one likes to hear the word no, but then like, it's that whole like, oh, it's not about the journey, it's about the destination or whatever that phrase is of like that that closed door that, you know,
it led you somewhere else.
Exactly. Yeah. And so
100%.
what would you say to like aspiring future staff, like JUCOs or senior staff or however you would?
Well, to my junior co's, keep doing it. Keep running the race. I know a lot of y'all are in high school now, and like, I just want you to know camp loves you even throughout the year. Oh, sorry. Camp loves you even throughout the year. And like, we want to pour into you continually and we want to keep loving you. And I just would encourage y'all to keep loving Jesus and keep pursuing him in every way that would look like. For the people that are aspiring senior staff or are praying about joining camp, I would just encourage you to keep praying. Know that door will close if it needs to be closed and be opened if it needs to be opened. If you're applying, you know, just be completely honest and completely vulnerable with them. I think that's something that they want to know everything and they want to be there for you. And I think if you're honest with them in the hiring process and you're truthful in what you're struggling with and what is going good in your life, then they're able to like pour into you better here because they know previously what's been going on. So I would say that's a big one. Yeah, absolutely.
So as the other day camp coordinator, how do you try to
shout out Bridget?
Yeah, right.
And shout out Emma. She's the day camp director.
Yeah, that's right. Can't forget Emma.
No, she's amazing.
How do you think, like, how do you work in the theme of victory into day campers?
Yeah.
Just because like they're here for not as long and they don't stay overnight and they don't have prayer walk and like, you know.
Well, something actually a camper said to me today, we were just walking to go, his name was Grayson and his mom was picking him up early. And so I was just like, hey, like, what was the best part of your day? We were walking and he turns to me and like just smiling goes, morning Bible. And I just was like, this is exactly why we do what we do. Yeah. The fact that morning Bible and he had a great day. He loved every single part of the day. After he talked about morning Bible, he talked about blah, 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 all this stuff, pool, games. He's like, there wasn't one part that wasn't good. But like the fact that the first thing out of his mouth was morning Bible was just a reminder to me. And I forgot to share this with the staff actually in the meeting, was just a reminder to me that we're doing our job of showing them Jesus. And showing the littles Jesus and he said, I said, what did you like about morning Bible? He's like, well, we learn about Jesus and we do dances. And he's like, I love the dances. And you can say you love the dances, but what I think I remembered from being a JUCO is I was like, actually from being a camper, some of the songs we sing, I would like remember them in the year. And like, if you actually remember them in the year, you remember the words and you remember what they're saying. And eventually it's going to click of what they're saying. Like, put on the full armor of God, stand strong against the evil one. Like just little words that are reminders of them, and they're seeds being planted. And you might not always get that. I love morning Bible. You might not always get the response because there's so many fun things that we do. But later in the year, are they going to remember floating on the dock? Or are they going to maybe hear that song and remember it about Jesus? Or are they going to maybe see a farmer and think about Farmer Paulina, who's a farmer we talked about this year, by the way.
In the skits.
Who knows Jesus and loves the Lord in the skits, But are they going to remember that? Like, there's little things that they're going to remember that are super cool. So I think tying the theme in victory, I think we were just talking about, all of our skits this year have been like, about God having the victory. So like we talk about the bread of manna and God being sovereign and God providing and trusting in God. We talked about the armor of God, where we get victory because we put on the full armor of God, and we're going to win, and we're going to stand strong against the evil one. So I think we tie it into all of our skits. We talk about it. Today a kid recited Psalm 23 completely in KJV to me.
Wow.
And I took a video of it and I was like, you get an extra country store snack. Anyone else can do that. So I think we tie it in different ways than necessarily the older campers did. And what's interesting is I was a counselor for 3 years, not a day camp coordinator. So you get to see both of them beautifully, and both of them how they work beautifully. So yeah,
that's so awesome. And I've definitely like, I don't know. I always try to like, I have issue with like realizing like what you had said, where it's like, oh, outside of this place, like they are living their own lives, and like to I don't know. I just, even as you were describing like the songs that they're singing, like who's the king of the jungle, who's the king of the sea, like imagine one of them, like one of those kids in high school, and they're just like, you know, families, it's a difficult situation and you feel alone, and it's like
that might pop up in your head.
Like that's so cool. Like I love that, and like the potential of that, and how God can move in that way. I will say a funny story. There's a song that high schoolers sing, and it's called Sanctuary. And in the, you know, like the second layer, I forget if it's altos, I think it's altos, but it's Amazing Grace, but it's in a different, it's like Amazing Grace, how sweet. So it's not normal. And I could not remember how it went for so long, and I'm so mad. So I was like, I just want to sing this one song. And then every time it would come up, it just came up in my brain so many times, like probably 5 or 6 times throughout the year. And I would record myself so I could remember it when things would get hard. So like little things like that we don't realize have an impact. And I think maybe I can see that because I was a camper, and because I've been able to see. And being here, this is my 7th summer. There are some little kids that are in middle school right now that I had in day camp, and I am like, how are you a middle schooler? Like, this is crazy. And it's beautiful. And it's cool to see their relationship with Jesus grow year after year, and see them grow up, and see those seeds be watered by each individual counselor that is poured into them. So absolutely. And it's so encouraging to see like other, like even the counselors being poured into, like the so I try to film every worship, but as soon as I heard the like Start a Fire, I was like, I found it on Spotify and I put it in my playlist. I'm like, I have to be singing the song because that's so good and like catchy, and like, because I had never experienced.
Was it Light the Fire?
Light the Fire?
Yes.
Start a Fire. Is it Light
the Fire, Start a Fire in my weary soul?
Yeah.
That one,
So it's Light a Fire.
Yes.
Okay.
But you're good. I was just trying to get the right song. Same wavelength.
Well, it's because I've never, we don't do a cappella like where I'm from. And so I came down here and I'm like, this is really interesting. And like, I have friends on both sides that are like, oh, it's, you know, this is, instruments are not helpful and they distract you, versus like instruments. We need electric guitar in church because Jesus works through the whatever. It's just like, and so then to just stand in the gym with the little portable fireplace, and like that's all you hear is like your friend, or like, I don't know, someone that you lost to in volleyball or whatever, but you're all singing those songs. It's like that's just that sense of unity is just super cool.
My first summer, do you know who MMA Jenkins is? Have you ever heard of her?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, she was out here and she held my hand in the back at campfire, and we were singing, and it was the last night of camp, and I had no idea any of the songs. And I turned around and I was like, how does everyone know these songs? Like little old me from California, like so confused. She was like, you will learn them. Like they will come in time. Acapella worship, campfire is my favorite thing at camp. It just brings so much peace. And like truly what you just said, like worshiping alongside your neighbor, your friend, someone you might have had a disagreement with earlier, the boy you have a crush on, the girl you have a crush on. Right. Everyone is around each other with like no other thing to do except worship God. And you can hear everyone, and it's so intentional, and it's so beautiful, and it is my favorite part of camp. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's beautiful.
Even the like competitive, the way I describe it is like competitive unity of like when you're teaching them the songs and it's like, okay, basses, you have this part.
Yes.
Okay, you know, I don't know, like tenors, like you guys have your parts and you sing it together, and then like you can almost see their eyes light up of like, okay,
when it comes together,
like it's like now I'm gonna say my thing, and now wow, we're all saying the things together, and then like then you end and it's like we just did that, like we just all sang different lyrics together with the same like tone and pitch and everything,
and to make a beautiful worship song to the Lord
with just your voice. Like
it's beautiful.
It's
truly.
super cool. Super cool.
So
what were other themes of the past? Because I've heard a few. And so
we've had Strong, that I've been here for. Obviously.
Oh yeah, of course.
We've had Stronghold. We've had Marvel. We've had, okay, I'm going to blank on what the actual title was, but it was in 2020 and it was the Olympic year, but the verse is my life verse. So it was Ephesians 3:20. Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than we could ask or imagine. That was a beautiful year. We've had,
was it Wisdom is one of them?
Wisdom was last year.
Yeah.
We had 2022. I'm not going to remember. Party of the year. How could I literally don't know how I forgot that. That verse was in Luke, and it was about the prodigal son all summer. And it was so beautiful. We had a party for Easter, party for Christmas, party for Thanksgiving, literally every week. And everyone went all out every single time. It was like Christmas in June. We were like having ham and like mashed potatoes.
There's like
and
tinsel everywhere. Like
there was tinsel everywhere. I was wearing pajamas every week. Like, but truly we had a party every single day. And it was beautiful. So
yeah,
we've had so many themes. My favorite theme was Stronghold. It was my first year. It was you identified what the devil had a hold on you and you released it, and we all released it in the field. I have chills thinking about it. We released it in the upper field. We wrote it on a balloon, and like there's a picture of them all being released. And then another night, we wrote them down on cardboard, and we stuck them, you know, in the upper field, there's crosses.
Yeah.
Yeah. We stuck them each at the foot of the cross, and no one knew who anyone was, and we went and prayed over them.
Wow.
And it was the deepest I've ever been, especially at that point. Truly, I didn't know how to read the Bible fully, like by myself. So, like, it was the deepest I'd ever gone. It was everyone being so vulnerable about where they were in life. It was for the first time me realizing that other people struggle with things, and it was beautiful. So that was my favorite year, but every year, 21 is a really close second.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
24, my gosh, I was going to say 23. 24 is a close third.
Victory.
Close second. I don't know, victory.
Yeah. They've been like, especially the prayer walk, which we're doing tonight. Like, I remember when we did the prayer walk for like the staff one, and it was like, it was nuts. Like, so like how you're describing like strongholds when you have your hands. Yeah. I was like,
you lay your hands on a piece of paper that describes like a sin or something you're struggling with.
Yeah. Like you have to, because the thing with not like addiction necessarily, but it's just like you have to recognize you have a problem. That's like the first step is you say you have a problem. Yeah. And so to like, I'm going to acknowledge that I feel like in front of everyone. Yes, that God doesn't hear me. It's like that's so, and then like
you think that.
Yes.
You think that,
and you see the other hands of other people who feel that way.
Yeah.
It's like, they do. It's even, especially hearing like you describe and other guests describe like past themes. It's like they do such a great job of like
prayer night, prayer walk is beautiful. They do such a great job every single year. Yeah. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the one tonight.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what God does.
Like, I want to figure out if there's a way that I can I just have a prayer walk for myself like every week? Like, can I just have a church like prepare
Sometimes you need it.
Yeah, honestly. So, last question. What is like the funniest thing you've heard a kid say to you or to like someone else?
Well, okay, this is not the funniest one, but this is the one that's coming to the top of my brain.
Yep, you're good.
You've pooted your behiney.
Okay.
No context.
Yeah.
Given.
Is this like a...
Nope. That's it.
Okay.
He came up and said that.
To you?
Yes. to me and Jay this summer. I'm trying to think of another one.
If someone
well, there's this little sweet boy.
Yep.
We love him. His name's JR. And he just goes like this to you. He'll just go up. I'm going to do the motion.
Yep, you're good. Just flexes.
But like with the squinch face.
Okay.
And it's like a little 4-year-old. And it's the cutest thing ever.
Yeah.
Funny things. I'm trying to think when I was in a cabin. What was funny? One girl's obsessed with toes. She just would put her toes in your face.
Okay. Okay.
She's here this week. I love her. She's my bestie friend.
Okay.
I love her with my entire heart. But yeah. So I've had some things you just like stop and you're like, you know, Jesus, you sent that to bring joy.
Yeah.
Because I believe Jesus laughs.
You made them that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's like to see however many years ahead of time to see that kid in middle school or high school.
Oh, yeah.
And be like, hey, you used to stick your toes in my face.
I told her that the other day. She was like, what? She was like, oh, yeah, I was.
I did do that. Yeah.
Yes. Or like the little junior kids who eat Takis and so much sugar right before bed and they're literally running around the cabin.
Yeah.
Or last year we had the best skit on the planet Earth.
Ooh.
I will go down. I've had 2 of the best skits. I promise. Bridget says
you're on record.
I'm on record for saying Lily Kay, and Grayson in 2021. No, Bridget's shaking her head. No, me, Lily Kay, and Grayson in 2021 had the best skit, and then last year Audra and I had the best skit ever. But so just like prepping with them, they were gonna impersonate counselors.
Okay.
We gave them their counselor at the beginning of the week. They watched them the whole week.
like
not creepily.
No, I know what you mean, but it's like, what's that called? It's like method acting. Like
so they had to come up with lines that their person had actually said.
Wow.
And it was perfect. But some of the things that they came back and said we want to say, I was like,
yeah, it's like probably don't.
Like, no, I was like, that just doesn't seem good. But anyway, best skit 2. Those are my 2 best skits. So yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Beautiful. This has been a very enjoyable conversation.
Awesome.
As always, thank you for joining me here on the podcast.
Anytime. Yeah,
you're welcome back.
Me.
Welcome back anytime in this air conditioning escape.
Everyone should come to camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you think you have a commitment in the summer.
Still come here.
Well, I just think it is a beautiful way for God to bless you and for you to bless others, be poured into and pour out. And it is a way that you can grow community greater than you've ever imagined. It is a way that you can grow yourself greater than you've imagined. It is a way to grow closer to God greater than you've imagined. So yeah, that's my encouragement. I mean, I play water polo. I should be there in the summers, and this is where I'm choosing to be. It's harder for me when I get back, but it's worth it every single time. So wow. Yeah.
What a great way to try to, like, I don't want to say sell camp, but it's like who isn't like, oh, my heart is stirred by that. Like, wow, I want to, I want to be out there.
Yeah. And if you have questions, let me know.
Yeah.
You can find me on the Chioka Instagram.
Here's my phone number.
No. But you can find me on the Instagram.
Yep.
Yes.
Awesome. Beautiful. All right. With all of that said, hopefully one of these days we'll see you out here in the Pines and Oaks. Say goodbye, Libby.
Bye. See y'all.
Bye.